Good evening, everyone. This is Gian, and I'm starting tonight my broadcast on Angry at the World Part 2. For tonight's hangout here in South Africa, I do not have any participants, so it'll just be me speaking to whoever is watching or listening, and I please ask that you send me through comments or suggestions on what to talk about, while I'm going to be sharing a little bit more on the point of being angry at the world. I currently moved my little recording area into this wooden room here, so the lighting isn't as good as it should be, and as you can see, the portrait has changed, and I also put a little cloth over here just to cover some random stuff that's stacked up here. But besides all of that, let's get down to Angry at the World. Now, as you know, last week we had with us Daryl Thomas and Andreas Whitman, who discussed about their own experiences and how they have been angry at the world and why, and how they dealt with that, and how they are taking practical steps to solving it. Sorry, I don't mean Andrea Whitman, Larry Manula. He was the other participant. Now, after our discussion, we left with a lot of information, we were left with a lot of perspectives, and we could see that a lot of people in this world is angry at the world. We can see that people in the world is getting angry. And as you've seen on the news, in TV, I mean, on the internet, all these protests, all these revolutions, and just chaos happening where people are striking and breaking things down, burning cars and breaking buildings and harming other people. This is the anger that is manifested in the world, and we're seeing people being angry at the world. Now, for us at home who are still in an elitist position, who has the luxury of a job or an income, and therefore have internet, a computer, and access to everyone else in this world, we don't necessarily go out into the streets and strike. We don't go out into the streets and show our anger because we are not yet there. We are still facing anger within ourselves. And if we're facing anger within ourselves, and other people in this world is facing anger outside of themselves where they're fighting and harming, then we must obviously investigate. How did they end up there, and why are we still here? When is it going to be us that has to go to the streets and start expressing our anger and start showing our anger, that we want change, that we want the things that corporations is doing to the world to change and to stop? Because obviously, if you're going to the streets and you are going to damage things, harm people, and make yourself heard because you're angry, then it's already too late. It's already a point of consequences where violence becomes the only way out. And that is a dangerous way. So what I would like to bring through within the point of being angry at the world is how can we prevent? How can we prevent having to go to the streets or even reaching that stage in our lives? Because we still have the opportunity. We still have the opportunity to sit at home and have a computer and connect with thousands, millions of other people out there that feels the exact same way, where we are angry at the world and for what's happening in the world. But the key that we have to realize is that we are the world. No one out there is going to change it for us. We are the people that is keeping everything the way it is intact. The fact that I go to a job and you go to a job every day, that is the system that we are keeping alive. That is the system that is keeping us fed, yet also angry. It's a very polarized system. At the same time, when you depend on its survival and you enjoy the entertainment in the system, there's an anger. There's an anger of, why do I have to work my ass off for 40 years or 60 years to make money and then spend my money on entertainment to keep myself happy because I'm sad of what I'm doing with my life? And then the other saddest part is your job is never secured. Your life isn't secure at all. That's why you have so many insurance companies, for in case all these things in the system happens. I mean, I have insurance people calling me every single day. I have people calling me about funeral insurance, car insurance, home insurance, and even just, getting hurt. There's all kinds of insurance out there because the world is obviously not safe. It's obviously not suited as a living environment for human beings. That's why we have so much and so many companies thriving on this insecurity that exists in this world. Now, while we, the ones that's able to listen and the ones that's able to still type comments and make videos and write blogs and connect with other people, while we have this opportunity, we have to take it and we have to change the world. We have to realize that my participation, each one's individual participation on a daily basis, is contributing to this system, to the existence of this system. And that our anger that we experience is because we feel that there's no way out. It's a powerlessness experience. It's like you're paying debts, but you're angry at it. You're working for money, but you're angry at it. You have to insure and save and do all these things with your hard-earned money, but you're also kind of angry at it because there goes your money. You didn't plan on spending your money on things to keep you safe in a world that's supposed to be safe. I mean, why are we accepting a world that isn't safe? Why do we need to put fences around our houses and alarm systems? There is so much in this world that we have to question, and I'm not going to get to everything today. I'm most probably just going to get to this anger that we all experience inside ourselves and get to a few core points of why it is that we experience it and to get rid of ourselves. I mean, when I was working far away from home and I had to drive every day for an hour to get to my work, I would sit in the car, I'd be as bored as hell. The radio is playing the same music for 6 months over and over again. Apparently, I voted for that music. Somewhere I did vote for it because I keep turning the radio on. I'm voting for that music, even though I'm not physically, literally saying, I like this song. Radio stations record who's turning on the radio when and where and how and who's listening to what. And obviously they have people that gives them feedback on, yeah, I love this song, I don't love this song. So then I'm sitting there in the car listening to the same music, the same road, the same traffic lights, the same people that don't know how to drive, and you get angry, and then you get to work and it's the same routine, it's the same thing every day. You open up shop or you get ready, you prepare yourself, and then the day goes by, and then a week goes by, and then a month goes by, and bam, the paycheck. You have a paycheck in your hand. Finally, I got what I was working for, which is money. And then you can pay your bills. So there goes your money out the window. You worked so hard, or sometimes you don't even work hard, but you still have to do the routine because that routine is gonna give you an income. Some people just sits at an office all day and there's not really anything to do, but you have to do it to have money. You'd rather be out in the forest or taking care of animals or building things with your hands, or there's so many other things in this world that we can do, but we're not doing it because the system we live in, the system we depend on for survival and our money kind of feels forceful. You have no other choice. But what I'm getting to is those little actions that we do consistently every single day keeps the system together. Now, the people you see having revolutions and that fight out there and that break cars, we get angry at them for, idiots, what are they doing? Meantime, they were just like you. They had a job, they had a routine, they had income, but they lost it. So it's an unfair system. And once we see that unfairness, once we feel that unfairness, a lot of us have had that experience just in your job environment. You get angry because you realize that all of this is bullshit. Whereas it's pretty fucked up. So now, we keep going for our routines. We keep getting angry and angry. Most people will go into a depression. Most people will go into a sterile, paralyzed way of living life. And that's why you have alcohol. That's why you have drugs. That's why you have entertainment. It's to keep you distracted. It's to keep that anger, that knowing that the system that we live in is fucked up, in control. That's why it's there. Alcohol has no other purpose except to numb you and to keep you where you are. And we perceive it as entertainment, as fun, as joy. And that's exactly what the system wants us to think. So that we can feel that what we're doing has an outcome that is positive. But meantime, our children, our grandparents who's getting old, who is going to support them in the current way the system goes? There's so many things in this world that get us angry. You can have a friend that is poor, but you're secure. You have money. Your friend's begging, is asking, is looking for work, and still we will feel justified in the position that we have as I've got money. Not realizing that that could have been us, that could have been me. I could have been that friend that didn't have work, that can't find work, that didn't have opportunities that I had. All these little points keep everything together. And all these little points is kept together by each and every individual person in this world. So now, let's go down more to the core, inside ourselves. If you look at a normal, average person, let's say you walk down the street, you see thousands of people. Have you ever wondered what's each one of them doing? Where are they going? How do they earn money? Where do they live? Have you ever wondered that? I always wonder that. I always go, where does that person live? Where does he work? How old is he? What has he been doing his whole life? And I'll put myself in a person's shoes kind of, and I'll be like, okay, interesting. I don't know anything about the thousands of people around me. And it becomes so normal to not know anything or to care about everyone else. We only start thinking about ourselves, our own survival. And when that survival, when that life that we have built for ourselves and care about has been shaken up by the system. Let's say people get fired at your job and you could have been one of them. Let's say one of your family members stopped getting money. Now suddenly there's a reason for anger and revolution. Now suddenly there is a reason for caring. But because it did not directly affect us, we didn't care until it directly affects us. And the problem in the system currently is it's going to affect every single one of us. The system isn't getting better. I mean, if you look at the world, jobs are not being created. At the way that the birth rate's going up, there's never sufficient work. Environments, they look like dumps. The only environments that look good is those that has money. If you drive around here in South Africa, almost every environment I see, unless I go specifically to a rich environment, looks like a dump. There's rubbish on the streets. The people's houses are breaking down. People's driving broken down cars. But fascinating enough, everyone has a big flat screen TV. Everyone has the best news mags on their cars. Everyone's got the best shoes, the best cell phone, the best shirts. Everyone's got good entertainment, even though the reality around them is showing them that it's crumbling down. Even though reality is showing everyone that we better wake up and see what's happening. But we're not. And why are we not waking up? Why are we not seeing what's happening? Why do we not want to see? That's mainly the question. And the reason is because what's the point of seeing all the problems, but you don't know what to do about it? That's the main problem in this world. No one knows what the fuck to do. Okay, cool. There is 25,000 starving children that die every single day, plus minus. All right, there's war in Syria and Iraq, and US is bombing the shit out of our countries, and Russia is involved, and France is now involved, and UK is involved, and South Africa's crime and rape rates are going skyrocket. Farmers is happening. There's so much happening in this world that what can you as an individual do to possibly change any of that? And that is where we give away our power. Because we're looking at it the wrong way. We are looking at it as only me. What can I do? Well, you by yourself can't do anything. You by yourself isn't going to change anything. All right, you can go feed hungry children, you can go build homes for people that doesn't have homes, but it doesn't change the system. Yes, it supports people temporarily. The child gets food for one day, and then that child relies on you making money to buy food to give food to them. So it's again limited to money, limited to the system. The solution isn't a solution. It's more of a throwing stones in the water and hoping it will change something in the water. Because the system remains the same. Unless you take full responsibility for feeding a child every day till they're 80, 90 years old, cool. And every single person in the world must do that. But not every single person in the world is equipped to do that. They have money to support another human being like that. Because everyone is still struggling just supporting themselves. The middle class and below people. So what we have to realize is that we have to come together. Because we have to realize that we are all already together. When you walk on the street every day and you see those thousands of people passing you by, hundreds of cars with one person in each car, what's about that? I mean, public transportation, please, we might have to upgrade that. You know, why does every single person need a car? But when you see all of that around you, realize you are already connected to every single person in your reality. Because of you and how you participate with every single other person around you is the reason everything is the way it is. So how are we going to change it? Look at your body. Your body's got about plus minus 55 trillion cells. Now you have to see the humans on planet Earth as cells. All right? Your cells has formed groups within the body, which is your liver, your heart, all your organs, and your skin, and your bones, and your muscles, and they all have a function. And together they function as your body. So the same way that we are currently functioning in this world is as one body. The liver has to be aware of the heart, and the heart has to be aware of the liver and the kidneys. I mean, your body has to be aware of all its parts to function effectively, to make sure that the body is going to be sustained, healthy, taken care of, be supported. But currently, the way we live in this world is as if the heart is on its own, the liver is on its own, kidneys are on their own, the muscles has to take care of themselves, the skin has to take care of themselves, the brain can just do whatever it wants. This is how we live in this world currently. And therefore, we can't move as one, like your body. We can't decide and direct things as one. And we cannot make effective decisions together. Because the biggest problem right now is information, knowledge and information. Because there is about 7 billion people on Earth, each and every single human being has different knowledge and information, different opinions, different beliefs. So even coming together in itself is already going to create so much frustration within just communicating. It's already going to create so much conflict just within communication because no one is on the same level of communication. So even if we want to come together as one body to change this world, we first have to kind of deal with ourselves. Now, if you do not go through a process of changing who you are, of changing what it is that you stand for, what's the principles in life for you, and everyone else has the same principles, the same directive principle, we're not going to get far unless we all have that. And what is the directive principle that we should look at to function as one body? It is what's best for all life. Doesn't matter what religion, doesn't matter what opinions or ideas or belief any person has. We have to look at, even if everyone has all those different things, what do we want to achieve together to live physically in this reality? We all want food. We all want shelter. We all want water. We all want comfort, transportation, education. Those are but the basic needs, and space. Now, if we agree that it doesn't matter what religion you are, what beliefs or opinions you have, if we can all agree that we're going to stand together to bring those basic things together, make sure each one has it, regardless of money, regardless of where you were born, regardless of what's your name, then we can create heaven on earth. But we first have to develop that vocabulary to be able to communicate with each other. That we want what is common sense, common ground for every single human being. Because if that doesn't happen, we're going to destroy each other. Because we're going to be angry. I mean, if your body cannot communicate with itself to heal itself, it's going to form diseases. It's going to form infections. It's going to start destroying itself, deteriorating itself, and it's going to die. And that's what's happening to the earth. Because we are the cells. We decide what happens. We simply have to realize we are already agreeing on everything that exists here the way it is now. We are all already agreeing on that. We can simply change our agreement. Let's change our agreement. Let's say we agree on these basic needs to be met for every single human being. Then, how are we going to implement it? And we work on how we're going to implement it. Now, getting back to the point of anger. Everything I've explained just now is showing you how the problem currently exists, how simple the solution can be. And this is where the anger comes in. Because we see that our own basic needs, our own wants and desires aren't met, even if we have a job and money, we get angry. Okay? You have to work your ass off, all right? 60 hours a week, 50, 40 hours a week, and you get this much money, your basic needs are still not met. Because you're physically exhausting yourself. You're physically using and depleting your energy for something that you don't want to do, but you have to do it for money. And you're still pissed off. You're still angry. You have to admit that anger. Some people enjoy what they do. Can't deny that. Some people love what they're doing. And they love how much they're getting paid for it. There are those people. But the majority in the world is not in that position. All right? I can say about 3 billion people on Earth is living in extreme poverty. They don't even have the luxury of thinking about a job. They are starving. They are surviving to extreme levels where thought isn't even possible. Have you ever gone without food for 3-4 days? See how much you can think then. All right, your body requires energy to think. If you don't have energy, if you don't have purpose, you can't think. And that creates anger and frustration. My biggest anger points that I faced was in school, when I was told I have to decide what I want to go study. What do I want to do in this world that I enjoy? And I looked at all the professions, and I realized, but these are all professions given to me. How come I can't decide what I want to do? So I found no interest in anything the system was presenting to me. I wanted to do something completely different. I just wanted to go into a wild area and look after animals. I don't want to go study for it because I don't want to do anything specific with animals. I just want to live in the wild of animals. But there is no wild of animals. Everything is fenced off. Everything has protection. The world is not what we can have it to be, for example. This made me really, really angry as a teenager, realizing that the world isn't free for all. So where is freedom if the world isn't free for all? How are we currently defining freedom if the world isn't free for all? If the world isn't free for you to just do what you want, what are you defining freedom as? Imagine you can leave school and say, you know what? My basic needs are met. I'm taken care of. I'm free to do what I want to express myself in doing. That's freedom. You know, but obviously you have to express yourself within the best interest of everyone, not to harm anyone, not to make anyone a disadvantage. These are the things that we have to consider. But this is how I experienced anger. I gave up on myself, got a job. I was like, there's no point in this life. because there's nothing I want to do in this life. I have to work for money, I have to pay bills, I have to drive in every day, I have to work 16 hours, double shifts, just to make enough money. Where's my life going to be in 50 years? At least I still had a job. Most people don't even get that opportunity. So anger in itself is a manifestation of ourselves, because we know that we are part of the system and that we are enslaved to the system, and we create the system through our actions, but we feel that we cannot change it. Now at Desteni and the DIP, Destiny I process, we have taken on the exact points that everyone needs to change inside themselves to understand the creation, how creation works, how we create, how we take self-responsibility, how we direct our reality, by first dealing with ourselves, first taking self-responsibility. That is the only way that we can only then direct the outer reality, which is the physical reality around us. Because once we are responsible human beings, once we have taken responsibility for our mind, how thoughts work, how feelings work, how they direct our reality, we can see how we're creating what exists here. We can see how, for example, our anger contributes to war. The only reason war is accepted and allowed and no one's saying, stop that shit, and not accepting it, is because we're all angry. And we like the fact that some people can express their anger because you feel you can't. You feel that I'm stuck in my job, I'm stuck in my life, I just have to keep doing this. At least those guys can kill each other. At least their lives aren't stuck as mine. At least they can do other things. And when war comes to us, when chaos comes to us, when Armageddon happens, when the end of the world happens, why do we keep wishing for these things or that they happen? It's because we want them to change our life. We want them to change our current routines and patterns. They want them to unleash the beasts that we've been holding in. But those beasts are only creations of us not taking action in directing ourselves first. Because when you walk in the street with the thousands of other people around you, if you change, how you walk in that street changes. How you interact with those people changes. Everything about you starts changing. The same way your body and cells work. If one cell changes, all the other cells are affected. Let's take cancer, for example. Cancer is a good example of how all the cells affect each other. And everything, it can kill the host. But we must be a cancer for life that heals the host. We must affect each other. We must become that cell that decides changes now. And we must become a living example. Being a speaking example is useless. You have to live it. You have to care. You have to love thy neighbor as thyself. You have to push beyond your depressions and your limitations of your mind. You have to push beyond the beliefs you have of yourself, the ideas you have of yourself. You have to push beyond everything in your mind and become a physical being that lives change in everything you do or say. But you have to first become a living example. Speaking and speaking and speaking doesn't change anything. We have to first live it, and then we can speak about it. Now, the living takes years to develop. This is why we have DIP courses, Desteni I process courses, because we take you step by step to understand how you work, how a human functions, how the mind consciousness works, the subconscious and the unconscious, how the physical mind works, and how it influences our lives, how we create it, what is memories, what is thoughts, what is emotions, what is feelings, what are all these things, why do they exist inside of ourselves, and how do they manifest what exists in this world. We have to take responsibility for ourselves first, before we can take responsibility outside ourselves. And then we can start living examples. Because the anger isn't going to stop until we stop. Because anger is a manifestation of feeling powerless. And as long as we are not giving ourselves power, we're going to keep on feeling powerless and powerlessness. And we're going to keep on exerting these feelings into our external reality, where they manifest consequences that is completely unnecessary and only harmful to others and ourselves. So, as you see in the world, bullying is increasing. Sexual abuse in pornographic images or videos. TV, war, the internet, games, everything is aggressive, which comes from aggro, which is anger, aggravated, which comes from a feeling of being powerless. Now, once we start empowering ourselves and realizing that I can change things in this world, and with the other people that's committed to change things in this world, together we can change things. You're not alone. We have to realize we're not alone. We have to realize that there is thousands, maybe millions of people that wants to change this system. And we have to let go of our egos so that we can see. It doesn't matter if I'm standing for this change or that change or that change. We must all come together, see how we can contribute with each other, change. If you have a group that's extremely good in technologies and they believe technology will change the world, and you have a group that believes eco-friendly environments will change the world, and then you have a group that believes in solar power and wind electricity, and then you have a group that believes in self-improvement and change. These groups are all individual, but yet they all want the same thing, which is world change. So we have to all come together. And we all have to stand together and say, how can we help each other? How can we create one group together and say, let's manifest this? Because as one, we are not strong. It's a quote from Mandela, where you can just break a finger, but as many, we are together, and that's strong. There's nothing to break. Doesn't matter what system we live in. Doesn't matter who's controlling us or not controlling us. We are the system. We are the slaves that's keeping it in place. We are the slaves building the pyramid. What if every single slave stood together back in the Egyptians' days and said, we're not building this. What's the pharaoh going to do? Is he going to kill all these slaves? Who's going to build these pyramids then? Who's going to keep the system intact then? That's the same scenario we have today. We are all the slaves of the system. But the slaves are actually the ones that builds the system, that creates the system. And there's a few guys at the top that says, build this, do that, and we listen to them because they have a whip, which is in the modern day called money. And as long as we accept that money is our limitation, we're going to remain those slaves, and we're never going to change anything. So that's my points for anger, how I've went from a powerlessness, how I've seen possible change, how I've experienced myself in this world, how I've seen things, and hopefully I gave you some perspective. Hopefully you saw something that you can contribute to this world, because everyone can contribute something to this world. Doesn't matter what it is. But the most important point is that we all connect, and we all come together, that we stand together. Because that's the only way we're going to ever change anything. If we keep seeing people outside of ourselves as less or not as valuable, we will keep on creating separation. And separation is the manifestation of fear. And fear comes from you. You create fear because of your beliefs, your ideas, your opinions, how you were programmed by your parents, your society, your environment. So we have to let go of our fears. We have to let go of our separations, because we're going to remain angry. And anger is only going to lead to one thing: total destruction, either of ourselves or of the world. Either way, it's going to be including each one of us. A lot of people that's angry at the world will go and blow things up. A lot of people that's angry at the world will go and harm themselves. A lot of people that's angry at the world will end themselves. A lot of people that's angry at the world will gather groups of other people and go harm other people. There's so many manifestations in this world of anger because We know the world can be a better place. That knowing is inside each one of us, because we know we can create something better, and we're not living up to that potential. And that's why we're pissed. That's why we're angry. Because you know, as a child, the world was free and open. You didn't have to pay to live with your parents as a child. You didn't have to care about money as a child. Everything was unconditionally given to you by your parents from your perspective. You did not know they had to work their asses off to feed you. You did not know that they had to go through the struggles of survival to feed you. But as a child, I want you to look at yourself as a child. That natural expression that life will just take care of you unconditionally was there. Why has it changed now within you? Why is it now suddenly wrong to take care of people that apparently are lazy? Why is it now wrong to apparently feed people that aren't working as hard as you? Why is it wrong to take equally care of everyone when that expression was born with us? I remember up until the age of 8, 9, I didn't give a shit about the system or the world. I just knew I was a child and I'm enjoying life. I get food, I have a bed, I have shelter, I have transport, I go places, I learn stuff, and that was normal to me. But then as I grew up, I realized money and what money is. It's as if I saw the potential of life and money just sucked it right out. And then I became this judgmental asshole that became self-righteous and egoistic towards other people, telling them they're lazy, they don't want to work. When I see a homeless person, I get angry, I say you're lazy, because I don't understand anything. It's because I knew that the reality of what we have accepted and allowed as the current world system doesn't have to be that way, yet we did accept it and allow it that way. So I couldn't live in freedom the way I did as a child. I had to change, I had to become hard and cold. I had to stop caring, stop expressing. I'd become an adult. And it's all these changes in our lives, it's all these events in our lives that seem so unfair and unnecessary, that keeps building up and making us angry and angry and angry until the system fucks you over one day. And when the system fucks you over, it's too late. You didn't do anything. You didn't change it. Now you're in a position of being literally powerless. If you sit on the street, you're useless. If you lose your job and you could have done something in the meantime to change this world, it's too late. Now you can do nothing. It's up to us who still have money, who still have the movement in this reality of money, and has the luxury of computers and internet and phones and all those things to connect with each other and to really bring a change, to stop living in anger. Because we're only angry at ourselves ever. Because we're angry that we don't stand together, that we don't change the world. We keep on fighting and fighting and fighting. Meantime, the common reason why people want to come together and change the world is the exact same thing. But we refuse to see each other's sides. Well, if anyone has any questions, please let me know. I am checking my question bar right now so that we can see what is happening. And it seems that currently there is no questions. All right. So just to end it off, I went all over the place with what's anger, how anger manifests, because the world's current state altogether is an angry manifestation. And we don't enjoy it. And we don't have to accept and allow it. Yes, we do have to survive in it still, because this is the reality of how things work currently. But we have to come together. to change this reality. Because we together are keeping it the way it is. And that's all you have to know, that your anger is simply because you are not empowering yourself. You keep disempowering yourself by just accepting and allowing the way things are. Even though you see all the problems, even though you know all the problems, and thinking that I can't do anything about it. Just know that there is people just like you, many, that wants to change the world. Now it's to get practical, physical ways to do that. And there's not going to be one organization in this world that has the solutions. There's going to be suggestions that people have out there, such as Desteni and what we do. We have suggestions, but we want everyone to come together, to give their skills, their perspectives on how can we practically change this world as a group, as one unit. Because we're tired of living in anger and the manifestations of anger. We're tired of disempowering ourselves and believing that there's some greater force that's creating all of this. We are that greater force. And the only way we can become that greater force is if we come together and live it. So that's what I'm leaving with tonight. Thank you very much for watching, if you were watching. And please, I'm going to wait 5 more minutes. If you have any questions, if you have any perspectives, please pop right now a question and I will be able to answer it for you or give you perspective. Any questions? It can be about the painting that's back there. I can answer something about it. It's water with a mountain that's there and the waves are crashing into it. The wood in the back here, we picked this wood up ourselves for 90 bucks, an entire trailer. We sanded it, we varnished it, we properly fixed it up, and we built little rooms out of it. A lot of work that went into that. The shirt I'm wearing, I don't know if it's got anything to do with America. It's got stars on it. That's about it. Under here, I'm just hiding some stuff. Nothing important. But those are irrelevant questions. So please, if you have any relevant questions, pop them on the side. I will read them out loud and see if I can answer them back. I have 2 more minutes that I'm waiting. I do have coffee here as well. I have 3 or 4 cups a day. This is currently ice cold, not good. I hate cold coffee. And yeah, so currently no questions. I will then be shutting off and seeing you guys in 2 weeks again with a different topic and a different guest that we will be discussing something different. There's only anticipation. Let's see what comes up. And I really like having guests on the show. Unfortunately, this week no one was able to contribute because I like to have a conversation back and forth to see relevant questions, relevant answers. And I was today just throwing it all out there and getting my own points of anger. As you can see, mostly I've been speaking for myself, what I've seen. And if you've had anything similar, hopefully I gave you some suggestions or direction to what you can take. If not, I would have suggested to put a question in there and I could have answered you, but the time is right now up. So I will see you in 2 weeks' time. Thank you very much for watching and listening. Goodbye.